I'm trying to piece together why the Democrats, they shut down the government for 40 odd days. It got them nothing. And now are they going to shut down the government again? There's all these spending bills that are out there. They were willing to do this in September, but it doesn't seem like they want to now. And I don't understand what changed for them.
Well, I don't know. I know that there are a couple members that have been publicly saying we need to shut down the federal government again. I don't agree with that. I think they've lost a lot of steam. It was very costly to shut down the federal government, and a lot of people were hurt, those that rely on programs, those that are most needy and vulnerable. So I think the blowback has been pretty extreme on the Democrats. I think the American people have really woken up to the fact that it was Democrats that actually was shutting down the federal government. We'll see what happens, Alex. But I think we've got great partners that actually do want to move forward with these appropriations bills. And what I would remind folks too is that through these appropriations bills, we'll actually be saving money on where we would be going if we just did a clean continuing resolution. So we're actually, cutting back a few billion here, a few billion there. It makes a difference.
What about, is there ICE funding that's coming up in some of these appropriations that we're discussing now? Because if there is, it just feels like one that's politically sort of suicidal for Democrats to vote for, even though, I think ICE is doing, by and large, terrific work, but it is a political football for them.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And God bless those ICE agents. I pray for them every single day. They've had some really difficult times and are doing a great service for the American people. But it will be a really tough vote for the Democrats to take. So DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is not in front of us right now as an appropriations bill. It will be coming forward soon. And the Democrats will have to make that decision. Do we support this bill or do we allow it to lapse? And if they do, I'm telling you, it's the safety of the American people. It's protecting our homeland. That's what these folks do, as well as other various agencies that fall under DHS. So they're going to be called out on the carpet on the floor of the Senate and the House, and they're going to have to figure out, do we want to protect our nation or do we stand by convicted rapists, murderers, those that are here illegally? That's who they're defending because that's who ICE is apprehending. Narco terrorists, people that do human trafficking, it's heaven's awful. But that's who Democrats are defending if they decide to defund ICE.
How about health care? Because a lot of the affordability issue is going to always, healthcare is always first and foremost for Americans, it seems like, in this regard. And Republicans are in a tough spot because this is one where the Democrats broke the healthcare system, and yet they pull better than Republicans on this. And there's not a ton of great options. No one likes the idea of extending Obamacare subsidies, but we also don't like the idea of seeing people's premiums balloon and having it be our fault. So what are the options that are out there? I know there's a Moreno-Collins bill from Bernie Moreno and Susan Collins, which seems like some sort of a compromise bill. Does anything have legs that the audience should hear about at this point, do you think?
Yeah, well, I do think that is the one that has the legs. And finding a compromise where we can continue with a small amount of subsidy moving forward, perhaps phasing that out as we make corrections in the system.
Yeah.
We know that the health insurers, that has to be addressed. We should not be sending checks from the federal government directly to health insurers. Because every time we do that, they are just pumping up the rates as much as they can because they know why the federal government's going to pay. So we have to look at that. We have to look at the overall cost of healthcare and what's at the root of that. So there's a lot of things that need to be corrected, and we've just got to be able to move forward on that. But in the meantime, I think the compromise package is probably what will move forward on. A lot more discussion to follow on that, but you're right. Americans, they need the healthcare coverage. and they need it to be affordable. But the Obamacare system, it didn't make it more affordable. It made it much more unaffordable for everyday Americans, which is why we've required federal government subsidies.
Yeah.
If it were affordable, we wouldn't need that. So let's just recognize Obamacare did not do what it had promised, and we've got to find a way out of this mess. That's on us here in the Congress. We've got to figure out a way forward. But in the meantime, it's been pretty messy.
Fantastic stuff. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, thank you for being here on the Alex Marlow Show, and we will talk soon.